So after last week's big reveal, we pick up in this episode where Magritte really gives us more information about her backstory. We find out more about Boots. Baba Voss is betrayed. We're going to talk about that and much more. Episode 6 of See was titled Silk. Baba and family are betrayed. Queen Kane uses her cunning to face a new conflict. What's going on, everybody? Elliot back again with my weekly recap, review, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, for the latest episode of See, and I'm excited to talk about this episode with you all. But before we dive into the review, definitely do me a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of my latest TV reviews, movie reviews, and everything in between. Definitely subscribe to our channel. Really appreciate the support. And also, if and when you've seen this latest episode of See, I want to know what you're thinking about Boots. I want to know what you're thinking about that magical place in the cave. I want to know all your theories and thoughts in the comments below. Let's have some fun discussions down there. So, forewarning, like I've been doing with all of the previous episodes of See, this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the latest episode, go check it out. Come back and let's have a discussion. So let's break it down. I really enjoyed this episode. You know, this season has been really kind of up and down for me. If you all have been watching all my previous reviews, I like one episode, the next episode is not that great. I like the next episode is not so great. So this one is in the line with this being a really solid episode, and we're going to break it down here. So let's recap it. So first off the bat, we pick up immediately after last episode where we see Boots. It goes to Baba Voss and say that Magritte has been taken, and not just she's been taken, but she's been killed. She's been struck down by the witch hunter. He saw it with his own eyes. He saw the blood. He brings the Baba Voss. But we're just sitting there, I'm sitting there thinking like, what? That didn't happen. That's not the case. Why is he lying? Because the very next scene, we see Magritte talking to the witch hunter, and I'm just wondering to myself, why is Boots lying? And we're going to talk about that here in a bit. But we see that Magritte tells the witch hunter to not harm her family, leave them unharmed, bring them to me. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, we'll see if Baba Voss is going to willingly go with these people. But we see that Boots, the biggest thing off the gate was Boots is lying, and we're going to find out why in a bit. So Boots betrays Baba Voss. We see that he locks them in the cage. He descends, this cage they're in descends down. He tells them that he can't trust people. And we find out a little bit reason why in the middle of the episode. But Kofu is pissed. He's like, why did you trust him? You always go off your instincts, this, that, and the other. It's just a lot of tension going on in the family right now. And it'll be interesting to see Kofu and Hanawa, how they're going to continue their relationship moving forward regarding her being kind of more headstrong and him being more preserved and wanting to be more with his family, and she wanting to be more with her dad. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that dynamic and that family dynamic there. So we see that they're in the darkness now, and Baba Voss says follow him. So we get a role reversal where the kids are normally the ones guiding the parents because they can see, obviously, but now we're in his element because we're in darkness. So I like that kind of switch of reversal there. So we transition to Queen Kane, which was very interesting. She meets this lady named Cora. She explains about what's happening when you don't work, this, that, and the other. They seem to be kind of getting along, and Cora seems to have the best interest from Queen Kane, and we know that's not the case. So within that scene, you know, Queen Kane gets beat down, she's knocked out, and we transition to a really interesting flashback. We go back to when we see Queen Kane at the bed of her dying dad, the king at that point, and a young Magritte comes up, and we see her very young. There's definitely an age differential, because in the present day, as we know from the first episode to where we are now, it's like a 20-year gap. But none of them have really necessarily aged like that. So this was definitely, you can see that there's definitely an age difference between King Kane and Magritte. So we see that the king tells Magritte 4 words. What did he say? He says, you must rule soon. He tells her that because he doesn't want his oldest daughter, Queen Kane, to be king. So there's obviously some jealousy there. And we see that, you know, Queen Kane tells Cora this information, which, you know, I'm thinking, oh, Cora might be, you know, helping her out. We might see Queen Kane. Is the show trying to make us feel sympathy for Queen Kane? Kind of in the vein of a la Game of Thrones with you know, Jaime Lannister. And we see her going through these battles and getting tortured and abused. Are we supposed to feel bad for her? And is Cora going to help her out? But we find out that Cora is not going to help her out. She's a spy. She tells the leader of this kind of camp that we see who she is, which is very critical and very vital to this episode and to things moving forward. So going back to Baba Voss, we see that they get attacked by these people in the caves, they take out their senses, and then we kind of see within that same kind of that area that one of the cave people tell them who she is, what the situation is, how this is kind of forbidden land, and that people want to stay for whatever reason why. We'll be interested to talk about that. But she tells them that she's Boots' mom, and that's some good information, and she tells him about how he was raised and why he is the way he is and how he doesn't trust people. And from the information she gave us in this episode, I mean, it makes sense why he doesn't trust people. The kid was abused and taken advantage of, and he took out all his enemies. So he has this chip on his shoulder. He's not just this evil guy. He has this agenda, and he kind of is like a vigilante in a sense where he doesn't really trust people. So we see she tells them that information, but she also tells them, hey, when I let you out, I want you to kill my son. And Hanawa says that she will. So that's something to keep an eye out for in future episodes. Will she keep that promise? Also, we'll be learning about with Margaret and Boots. It'll be very interesting to see how that moves forward. So we go back to Queen Kane, and again, she befriends the lady, and we see that the owner or the leader of this camp takes out this Imram, or takes out this thing showing that she's a queen out of her heart to deliver a message to the witch finder, which would be very interesting to see if he's going to go there, if he's going to capture the kids, if her sister's going to demand that they rescue her. It's very interesting stuff that's going on now that's really piquing my interest. So really, really cool stuff that we got in this episode. So we see Paris kind of having a breakdown with Baba Voss in regards to she feels bad in the position she's in. Again, we talked about the Boots' mom, but something that happens is Hanawa sees this magical place, and Boots' mom tells her she saw the secret area. Keep an eye out for her. So I'm wondering what this land and what the significance of this secret sacred place underground is, and is it something that's gonna control her or make her lust for some type of power or want to go back to that underground? We got to keep an eye on that, because again, that young lady said, or Boots' mom said, that she shouldn't have seen what she's seen, and keep an eye out for her. So it'll be interesting moving forward. So as the episode progresses, we get this the action in this show is ridiculous. The brutality in the fights are like literally brutal as hell. We see Baba Voss taking out these cave people left and right. In this one scene where Baba Voss takes this man's jaws and rips it. I mean, again, no matter if the storyline is kind of hit or miss for me, but one thing that has been consistent is the badassness of Jason Momoa in all these fighting sequences, and it's just been badass for me entirely. We see him climbing up the cave, which if you all follow Jason Momoa on Instagram, he likes to climb things, so it was cool to see him actually use his, personal hobbies in real life and inject it in projects like this. So I thought that was a pretty cool little wink, wink, nod, nod. So we see him climbing up there, and then Boots and Magra, we see them have their interaction, and he tells her, "Hey, I'll be your lieutenant if." And this is kind of a weird exchange. I thought he was going to say, "Hey, let's have a baby together," or something. I don't know. I thought they were going down that route, but he just tells her, "I'll be your lieutenant if you just be nice to me," which I thought was kind of a little cheesy. But we'll see if he's even telling the truth, because we know he's a liar at this point. But he has, like I said, he has his reasoning why. But we see that the messages come in, and the witch hunter says that the queen's been captured. And then, Boots tells her, hey, I can help you out, again, if you agree to these terms. So, again, some questions that I left with this episode. What is that magical place that Hanawa saw, and will it affect her? Will Magra want to save her sister? Will she want to save her, go after her family? What is she going to do? A lot of things are on her plate. It is really interesting to see how they take this episode. So again, I will take the rest of the season. So again, I've really enjoyed this episode. A really good, good stuff moving forward again with the position of Queen Kane, information of what we learned about Magra, and also Baba Voss, and Hanawa and Kuf, everything that we got with the kids. So I really enjoyed this episode. So let me know what you all thought of the episode. Again, what do you think about Boots? What do you think about Queen Kane? What are you looking forward to for the next episode? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video so I can continue making these. Share this video, as well as, like I said, subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that notification bell. Stay up to date with our content. Check out my review that I did for The Mandalorian earlier this morning, as well as keep an eye out for my review for episode 6 of the morning show, which I will be reviewing here in a bit. So thank you all for watching this review. Follow us on all of our social media accounts. Next week, I will be out of town in Chicago, so I'm hoping to watch the latest episode of See, and then probably review it on my phone in a hotel room. So I'm going to definitely keep an eye out for that review for next week. But thank you all for watching this review, and we'll see you on the next video.